So anyways, let's get started officially. If you are here for save time and make more money in your business with done-for-you content, you are absolutely in the right place. I am Alice Seba from Publish for Prosperity and List Magnets. And we have Justin Popovic. Actually, how do you, I know that, you better pronounce your name for me properly.
You nailed it, Justin Popovic.
Because
There's an invisible H.
I thought that I had heard someone say it and they don't pronounce the C like that. I'm like, but that's how it's supposed to be pronounced.
That's correct. You nailed
it. All right. So I've known Justin for quite a few years, and I know many of our attendees also know Justin as an awesome private label rights content provider, but also someone who has all these fantastic ideas on how to use it, reuse it, use it to actually grow your subscribers, get new customers, and all that good stuff. So I'm pretty excited actually to hear from all these ideas from Justin. He has some great ones for us. So I will turn it over to you and looking forward to it.
Perfect. Thanks so much. And thank you everyone who is attending live or the recording. Feel free. I know Alice is going to be kind of managing while I speak here and kind of get lost in my slides, but if you have any questions, we will try to, I guess for the most part, answer them at the end. But Alice, if you see anything pop up that you think is relevant to what I'm talking about in the moment, that's cool too. Pretty free form, a lot of interesting ideas. I'm just going to try to run through them as quickly, but efficiently and effectively as possible here. So this is sort of what I've lined up for you today and what you'll learn. The first one is how to acquire instant access to ready-made digital products you can publish as your own. You probably know a little bit about this already, given that you know Alice. That's a lot of what we talk about here in the private label rights world. We'll talk about that more in a second. It allows you to keep 100% of all sales, and you can do this for pennies on the dollar. How to take licensed content. So I like to use the word licensed content. You might hear other people call it private label rights or PLR, and turn it into something completely unique. So you don't have to worry that anybody else is publishing the exact same thing. And you can use that to grow your brand, grow your list, and ultimately make more sales, which is what we talked about at the start. And I see Alice on camera. Now she's gone. Good. That was funny how you popped in there for a second. Then I also want to quickly talk about some mistakes to avoid. So I've got 3 in total. There's probably a lot. I could spend a lot of time on this piece, but I always like to point out a little bit of a cautious angle here as well, because some people, if you are new to this type of model, just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. So when you're using done-for-you content, let's talk about some things to avoid. Then I want to get into some interesting ideas like Alice mentioned off the top. First one is how to easily build kind of that know, like, and trust factor that we all talk about in sales when you have new prospects coming to your website. So if people haven't met you before, or if they're pretty new to you, you can establish that know, like, trust factor quickly. And it makes selling a lot easier. It makes it a breeze online if you do it correctly. And I have a very interesting way, but it's simple, to make your subscribers remember you. And then I want to show you a 10 to 15 minute exercise, depending on how good you are at executing a list of things to do, that will basically let you extract your expertise into a video presentation. So as you go through this, I'm going to kind of speak to you, assuming you have some form of expertise that you want to package up and sell online. Maybe you want to sell it in the form of downloadable products or books. Maybe you also sell it in the form of services like coaching, group coaching, whatever it may be, live webinars like this. But whatever it is for you, we want to, in this particular example, show you an exercise that lets you extract that into a video presentation. So if you're not doing video yet, this is really good. If you're already doing video, maybe this will help you do it more quickly and get the whole thing transcribed at the end without paying anything, for free. Then I want to show you how to create a wow factor for new prospects. So people coming to your site for the first time, it could just look like a regular blog to them, looks like everything else they've seen before, until they get to one of your awesome wow factor blog posts that's so good that you could charge money for it. But you don't. You give it away for free, which is even better. And you can do this in less than 10 minutes. Then I want to show you an easy way to spoil your subscribers so they never want to leave your list and turn them into repeat customers. A really cool example about creating a visually stunning presentation or an ebook, handout, whatever it is you're doing, even if your design skills suck, And then I have a really super awesome, crazy special offer. As you might expect, you don't have to take a look at it, but maybe you want to. That's up to you. First, let's talk about the content, and then we can talk about the offer later on. So I am Justin Popovic, as we talked about off the top. The picture there on the screen beside me is Ted Payne. That's my business partner. We were actually friends in high school, believe it or not. And years ago, we were both in kind of jobs. I was in a corporate job. He was in the social working type of job. We didn't like it, so we both quit at the same time and partnered up and created a business where we went through a whole bunch of different phases, but ultimately got into private label rights content, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Content creation business, we called it. We started in 2010. We originally were selling a lot of services like website design. And if you've done any service-based businesses before yourself, you know that can get a little hard if you're always exchanging your time for money. So we got into products after a while, and we've stayed there ever since, really, quite frankly, since 2010. This is all we've been doing. We have built 2 successful PLR businesses, private label rights. The first one we sold in 2016 to focus on the one that I'm going to show you today, toolsformotivation.com. And this is all we do now. So over that span of time that I just talked about, we have built over 500, I think it's actually 700 now, digital products. And our current catalog is over 350 and growing here at Tools for Motivation. Our main focus now is self-help. The self-help niche is, if you haven't seen it before, you may not know this, but it's a giant, evolving, emerging market growing by the year. And we decided to focus there, A, mostly because that's where our passion lied, but B, because it is a great market. And there's so much you can do here. There's so much, there's so many different angles you can come at the self-help world. So if you're publishing content here, you probably already know this, there's a lot you can do. So we're going to take a look at that. So just in case anybody is new to this discussion or new to the word private label rights, I want to break it down quickly so we can dive into the meat of the content. Private label rights is basically licensing, content licensing. Think of it as something you can download, learn from, and then publish it as your own. The simple example might be an ebook, right? You find an ebook on how to XYZ, you download that, read it. It's like, oh, I learned some cool ideas. But then it doesn't stop there. You don't just read it and consume it as a content consumer. You're a publisher. You can turn around, publish that, and sell it and keep all the money. That's essentially what private label rights lets you do. Unfortunately, a lot of people have a negative connotation when they hear private label rights or PLR. Historically, I'm talking, 8-10 years ago when we first got into it, a lot of really poor quality PLR was being marketed, and people kind of gave them a bad taste for it, and they kind of went away from it. And now they're realizing, hey, there's actually some really good professionally done stuff out there. And so I want to make sure that you're aware that there are still these 2 categories, and you kind of have to use your best judgment to decide who are the quality providers out there. Hopefully with today's presentation, I can kind of help you tune into that. And the big thing here as well with private label rights, if you have heard of it before, but maybe you're thinking it's just like done for you blog posts or whatever, it's not. PLR can be virtually any format of content. It can be audio or video, graphics, presentations, mind maps, checklists, all the ones I have on my screen. I don't like reading my screen, but I did there for a second. But really think about any type of content that you can publish online, either on social media or on a blog or in the form of a downloadable report, whatever formats those follow. You can find private label rights content, that covers all of those things and can really save you a lot of time if you want to publish all of those types of content, but you don't want to do it, build all of it from scratch. So just to give you a quick example here, I've got my website up and running. This is toolsformotivation.com, and I just pulled up one of our more recent releases, a package called Foundation. This is a done for you kit, and it talks about, it's kind of the essential building blocks of success. This particular package teaches the end reader. So when you look at this, think about yourself as a content publisher. You could buy this done for you product, download it, make any customizations you want, and then sell it to your audience to teach them what you see on the screen right now. So this teaches the basic success skills of life, and it's broken into 10 different topics: goal setting, decision making, positivity, and so on. I won't go through them all. But this package includes a lot of stuff done for you, which is the whole idea with private label rights. We've built an ebook. It's a 6,400 word ebook already written for you. So if you want to publish it just like it is, that's fine. If you want to add to it, add some of your own anecdotes and stories and examples, you can do that as well. It's up to you. That's the power of private label rights, is it gives you a starting point as a platform, and then you can build it up from there. We include all the graphics if you want to package it on a website. We've actually taken the ebook and enhanced it into almost like a magazine or newsletter style format. So there's all these graphics inside of the ebook to enhance the look and feel, just give your reader a little bit more of a visually appealing experience. There's a workbook that teaches them how to actually implement the 10 skills that are talked about in the ebook. Then there's a bunch of lead generation content. So if you want to build your list, we have a report you can give away on some general success habits, gets people warmed up to the idea of the main report. We've pre-written some emails for you. There's an autoresponder series, a trainer slide deck. It goes on and on here. There's a bunch of branding content with blog posts and social media content. I don't want to go through it all. The idea being this: you can go out on the market right now. You can go to Alice's website or my website. There's dozens of others as well, and find packages like this where all of the content that you want to sell, all of the content you need for lead generation or building your list, and all of the content you need for marketing, like blogging and social media posts, are done for you. You can download it, brand it as your own, and publish it with your own flair. So that is the idea here. Hopefully that just gives you a better idea of what we're dealing with here when it comes to private label rights. Moving on now, I want to talk about a usage model that I find never fails. 4-step PLR usage model works every time, regardless of the type of PLR product you are buying. You'll find some of them are very complex, like the one I just showed you. Others are just a little short, 10 articles, maybe a report and some graphics. Doesn't matter. Here are 4 steps you can follow and get some value from your PLR investment each and every time. First, you want to take an inventory of what your package includes. So write it down, make sure you understand, okay, I've got some articles here, I've got a graphic, I've got a report, whatever. Then you want to group it into one of 3 categories. I like to think of all of my content and then I think of which bucket I'm going to use it in. It can either be premium, so that's something you're going to sell or put as part of a larger item that you're selling. Or you might want to use it as a lead generation content, so growing your list, building your list, and so on. And then finally, the third group might be web or branding content. This is free stuff. You publish it as a blog post. You publish it as an article on an article sharing website. Maybe it's a post on one of your groups on Facebook or on Pinterest or something like that. Once you've decided how the PLR will group into those 3 categories, then you want to decide how you are going to use that PLR content. So you buy it. Let's say you make a, I don't know what it is, something cheap, $27 investment. You've got this content sitting on your hard drive. How are you going to actually use the content you just purchased today based on those 3 categories? And then what you want to do, I recommend this to everybody. If you use Dropbox, it's great. You can even use an external hard drive and start collecting all of your PLR into a kind of a main folder called rebrandable content or something like that. But add your PLR to something called an assets folder. And inside of your assets folder, you might want to group it by category. So we sell at Tools for Motivation, we sell self-help content. So you might buy some goal setting content from us one day. Maybe next month you get something from us on leadership or mindset or success habits. Who knows what it might be? Group all those pieces of content into relevant folders so that you can come back to them in the future. Not all of the PLR you buy today will be something you implement right away, but when it's kind of evergreen, like self-help, you will eventually come back to it. Maybe you'll need it for a mailer one day, or maybe you'll need it for a blog post in the future. Make sure you have it in sort of this one giant assets folder so that you can revisit it. This model, to me, if you do this every time you buy PLR, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a return on your investment. Now, it just popped up a little green box there saying resource page. At the end of this webinar, I'm going to have a really cool offer for you. It's something we're only offering on this webinar. And part of the offer has a resource page where everything I show you today on this webinar, I will break it down into much more granular step-by-step. So if you want to take any of the examples I have here and run with them, and you don't want to have to take like tons and tons of notes while I speak, that resource page will make it super easy for you to follow all of these steps. So I have this 4-step usage model in greater detail for you on that resource page. Quickly, let me talk about some mistakes to avoid with PLR just before we get into the cool examples. So if you're going to buy private label rights content, the first thing I want to recommend you do is buy it and make sure you implement it. I see a lot of people, they load up on this stuff and then they don't implement. And so it just sits there gathering, quote unquote, digital dust. I've heard a lot of people say that term before, but it's true. It's not going to do you any good to buy a bunch of licensed content and just leave it sitting there. Make sure that at the very least you grab it and put it up as a blog post or copy and paste it into your next broadcast or some kind of useful tool for your customers or subscribers to use. Let me just grab a quick drink. Alice, by any means, if you need to pop in and interrupt, do so. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep plowing away here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sitting here going to take notes as well on these.
Good.
But
Okay.
yes, this implementing thing. Yeah, I don't think we can ever keep our customers, from doing that. But for those of you who are here and you took the time to be here, be those people who actually implement what they buy for sure. Have a plan for it. Even if you don't, I don't know if you're going to mention that, even if you're not personally doing it, have an assistant or someone else, do it for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Each and every one of the examples I'm about to go through are perfect for delegation. If you have a VA or somebody working for you, they could easily do all this for you while you work on other stuff. So, so not implementing, that's a huge one. Next one is implementing, but not publishing. So you buy the PLR and you sit down, or your assistant sits down and puts, I don't know, maybe you take 3 of our ebooks from Tools for Motivation and turn them into a course. So you've got this 3-part course. It teaches people who knows what kind of life success skills. It's got all kinds of great examples. It can really make a difference in the life of somebody who buys that. And you put it into a course or a PDF or whatever, and then you never get to publishing it. Who knows? Maybe it's some kind of tech thing that trips you up. I don't know. But I see that far too often. And I've even had Skype calls with people where I'll sit down and go, okay, you've got it done. So now you need to do is this, this, and this. They walk away and they still don't do it. I don't get it. So I really mean this sincerely when I say implement it and publish it. It's not going to do anybody any good, yourself or your customers, if you've done all this great work and nobody can purchase or download this thing. So those are kind of my 2 favorites. And then the last one is a little bit more of a techie kind of understanding thing. Understand the terms of service of the platform you're publishing on. So for example, if you're using Udemy or however you pronounce it, they have something in their terms of service about private label rights content. Same with Kindle. I'm not going to go through all those right now. Take the time to understand what you can and cannot do when it comes to using private label material. Don't get yourself in trouble on your favorite publishing platforms. Okay, so we have more of this stuff on a resource page. Okay, this is what I wanted to get to, why I kind of rushed through that first part. Implementing PLR, this is how we're going to save time and make more money in your business. And we're going to break it into 2 sections here. So I've got some basic examples that I want to go through a little bit quickly. And then I've got some advanced examples that I'll spend a little bit more time on. You can see there are quite a few here. So don't need to write any of this stuff down. I'm going to go through each and every one of these on the subsequent slides. But I just wanted to kind of set the stage here for what we're doing next. So the first basic PLR implementation idea is for ongoing blog content. Anybody that is publishing online, if you're list building, if you have, let's say you have a course you want to sell or a membership site that you want to load people into to build recurring revenue. Having a blog that you can publish content to on a regular basis is kind of a no-brainer. It's an easy way to get indexed in Google. It's an easy way to get people warmed up to the type of stuff that you're an expert in. But it can be kind of a pain in the butt to write blog posts all the time. So with PLR, here's a great example. So this is a package on negotiation skills from Tools for Motivation. On the left, it shows an article. So you could buy this package from us. It would have, I think this one had 10 articles in it about negotiation. And you could take that text-based article. It was in Word doc format. You can go over to your WordPress blog and literally just copy and paste the title into the title and then the text of the article into the body of your blog post. You could publish it as is. Maybe you'll want to rejig the title a bit, knowing that there are probably other people who bought this package. So rejig the title so it looks a little bit different. Maybe add a little intro and outro, or add some of your own anecdotes into this blog post itself. It wouldn't take you more than a couple of minutes if this is a topic that you're already comfortable with. But that alone, just this one little example of grabbing an article that's already been written by a PLR provider and giving you your blog posts for the week saves you a bunch of time and can still be unique if you take that few extra minutes to tweak and customize this. This is a very simple example, nothing you probably haven't seen before. If you haven't, then great, you've got a new idea. This is taking it a step further. So in my example, I said we had 10 different articles about negotiation. I think that one was. So you could take 3 of them, let's say, and for the next 3 weeks or 3 days, whatever it may be, you can do the exact same process I did on the previous slide, but use WordPress or whatever blogging platform you're on will have this functionality. And you can copy and paste those blog posts, those articles into scheduled blog posts. So you can kind of drip them out over the course of the next 3 days in this example. Maybe you take us up on one of our bundle deals. Every once in a while, we'll sell a whole collection of articles, like a 50 pack. And you could have 50. So like, let's say you did 1 a week. That's almost a year's worth of blog content scheduled and done for you to drip out to your blog. And how hard would that be to delegate to a VA, right? You just show them that the steps in the previous slide and say, go ahead and do that 50 times. Of course, if you're a little bit more techie, there's even ways to do this more automated where you could import this content as well. The idea here being, give yourself ongoing blog content, keep people coming back to your blog and give them lots of cool information so that they're interested to learn from you, and do so in a way that saves you a lot of time and really you don't have to waste time trying to write blog posts all the time. You can just add to these or even just leave them as is, and you've got good content there. Next one is another basic PLR implementation, but just creating ebooks or reports to sell or give away as lead magnets. This is kind of another traditional way of doing it because a lot of PLR packages just come with that. Well, like that foundation product I showed you at the beginning, it comes with a 6,400 word ebook that you could sell or give away. And then you could create an upsell or a bundle audio with it if applicable. So a lot of our packages actually include that stuff as well. We include reports that are pre-written for you, like ebooks, but then we also have a team of voiceover specialists who will narrate that entire ebook into an audiobook. So in our market, self-help, personal development, audio is huge. It's one of probably the biggest markets for audiobooks. If you do some market research, you'll see it's giant. And I buy a lot of this stuff on Kindle. Very often you'll get an upsell or an option to add the audiobook for a small little upsell. And I'll often take it just because I like to have, as somebody who listens to a lot of self-help stuff or consumes a lot of self-help stuff, I like to do it on the road, taking my son to gymnastics or whatever. I can have that stuff available as well. So to me, that's it just gives you a lot of just options to do it with. Just kind of, sorry, I just wanted to go back here for 1 second. So if you think about the traditional kind of example of somebody that wants to make money online or sell something online, if you have a coaching business already and you're selling your coaching services, why not add a bunch of downloadable products that can just expand your reach? You could maybe pre-sell or pre-qualify better coaching clients by having them first go through some of your downloadable stuff, right? If you don't have that yet, if all you offer is coaching services, it's going to take you quite a while to create a couple of ebooks or ebook audiobook bundles for people to download from you, whether you sell it or give it away, right? If you use PLR, a lot of that work's done for you. All you would have to do is open up that ebook, maybe add some of your logos or branding into it, maybe a picture of yourself if you do a lot of personal branding as a coach. And now you've got this digital content that's kind of extending you as a coach, either pre-selling people or maybe you give it to people as follow-up content after you take your coaching. That's a huge competitive edge over other coaches not doing the same thing. And if you're using PLR, you're going to save all kinds of time because now you're not going to spend days or weeks trying to create that material. It's done for you. You just add a little bit of your own flair to it and publish it. Taking that a step further, if you want to create your own e-commerce store, this is becoming bigger for people that want to sell. The big thing in the self-help world I'm seeing more and more now is like audio libraries. People like me that love self-help content, like almost exclusively buy audio nowadays. So imagine taking a whole bunch of your favorite topics. Like here's just an example, a bunch of stuff on our screen: facing fear, how to stop worrying, embracing the best moments of life, daring, becoming more daring, and so on. You could have a whole store of different personal development products that people could go and load into a shopping cart, download and buy from you, and you're making money kind of passively. You're literally creating opportunities for yourself to generate revenue, and you could have all kinds of options for people to go shopping on your website. with, again, very little of the groundwork that you do. Let's say if you were starting from scratch, you open up a blank Word doc and you try to create all these products, that's a giant mountain to climb. Start with 7 or 8 or 10 PLR products and do a little bit of editing and tweaking, make it look like it comes from your brand. Now we're talking. We've got something that we can get up and running very, very quickly. So on the resource page, I'll have a little explanation of how to actually build an e-commerce site. And I'm going to show you it using the example that we use on Tools for Motivation. It's a platform called WooCommerce, which is a free plugin for WordPress. So you can actually build your own e-commerce shopping cart, have some products up and running, and spend nothing on the software. It's pretty cool. Okay, I just had a drink of water and I'm ready to go. Next one is modules within a larger training course or seminar. So I get people that come to our help desk and they'll look at something like that foundation package. I gave you a demo at the beginning, and they'll say, hey, this looks great. I see that you've pre-written a 6,400 word ebook for me. That's awesome. How much do I charge for that ebook if I want to sell it on my website? And they think that's the only way of doing it. I think it's okay. That's a good question, but is that the only way you can use this? Well, maybe, but maybe you want to charge more. Maybe you actually have a whole bunch of content that you want to share with your audience and you want to package it up in the form of a course. If you sell a 6,400 word ebook, that's pretty short, right? People go to Kindle and buy giant books written by experts for, $9.99 or $12.99 or whatever. So to buy a digital download for a 6,400 word book, you're probably not looking at being able to charge all that much money. You could, but it's probably going to have to be priced on the fairly low end of the scale, which is great. It could be a good starter pack for people that have first learned your name or they're just learning your business and what you do. However, it doesn't end there. If you wanted to take that 6,400 word book and make it part of a larger initiative, so that foundation course talked about 10 success skills for life. Maybe you're building a giant personal development course that's going to walk through all kinds of aspects of personal transformation. You're going to start with, core success life skills. Then you're going to move into developing positive habits. Then you're going to move into relationship skills and communication. It could be a 10-week course. Well, now that 6,400 word ebook just becomes one little piece of a much larger course that maybe you're charging, $497 for, or even more if you're offering personal assistance in that course. So here's an example of something I did. A number of years ago, once I had been selling private label rights products for a while, and I got pretty good at the whole process of taking an idea, building it into a digital package, selling it online, and generating revenue for my company, I thought, hey, I've got a lot of knowledge here. I can share it. I created this course called Prod Create, and I taught people how to do it. Take an idea, turn it into a digital product, put it up for sale on a website, make money. That's essentially what we did. Now, what goes into that is a lot of stuff. And in order to teach people how to do all the different steps to pull that off, I had to pull a whole bunch of different resources together. Some of them were not best taught by me. So for example, I don't consider myself a very good copywriter. If you were to look at my sales pages and you're a copywriter, you'd probably say, this could use some work. I can write enough to get by and to get people excited enough to buy my products, but I could certainly probably do a better job of it as well. And there are people way more equipped for the job. So when I was teaching my students who are learning product creation how to write sales copy, I didn't want to rely on my own expertise because it just didn't feel qualified. But I didn't want them to not buy my course either. So I went and I bought PLR rights to a course created by an expert copywriter. And he had a 13-step system that taught people how to explain the value of whatever product they're selling and write it into a sales letter with a headline, a subheadline, benefits, whatever. And it taught people to fill in this template. And at the end, you have a great sales letter. So for me, that was a perfect example of using PLR to sell a premium course. I needed a module teaching people sales copy. I didn't want to write it from scratch. I didn't feel qualified to write it from scratch. I put it in my course. And I even told my students, hey, I didn't write this section of the course. I licensed this from an expert copywriter. So I actually went out and told them that this was PLR, and it didn't matter because they got value from that 13-step process. All they cared was they got the information they needed. So just one template of that course was a PLR product. The rest of it was stuff from my head. So hopefully that example gives you some other ideas what you can be doing. Another example is updates to membership sites. So this is just a really quick one, but this is probably one of the most common questions we get at our help desk is, how do I create what you guys have, like a recurring membership website where people pay us monthly, and I only need to sell them once and just keep giving value every month until they cancel. Well, this is a great way of doing it. If you need to keep your subscribers interested and happy and feeling like they're getting lots and lots of value for their monthly spend, PLR could be a great tool for you. It won't necessarily solve all of your membership requirements, but if you're adding new downloadable content each and every month for your members to grab, and if it has some kind of face value, let's say you sell that content externally on your website for a fee and they're not having to pay for it, that's great value. A friend of mine, Dennis Becker, has been doing this for years on a website he runs, a membership program he runs called Earn 1K a Day. One of the big benefits that keep a lot of the people subscribed to his membership is every Friday they get to go in and download a whole bunch of new stuff that he's put up for members to download at no cost, products that they'd have to go and buy otherwise. And he uses PLR for a lot of those. And I'm sure a lot of them know it and they don't care because, again, they're getting great value from those downloadable products. They're learning from them and everybody kind of wins in that scenario. So the key thing here, I just want to plant the idea for you that if you're not thinking recurring revenue through membership sites or some platform, oh, Alice, am I still live? Because I'm just getting a warning about my internet connection being unstable.
You are still at your, like, the connection, you can hear it, that it's going out a little bit, but it's still pretty clear.
Okay, so I'm not, like, everything I'm saying is coming through. I'm not missing out.
I haven't missed anything. It all sounds, I mean, it's kind of goes goofy every once in a while, but it's still clear. So,
okay, it's probably all the ice all over the wires outside. So
Sonia, yeah.
Okay, well, I hope it stays, because now I'm about to get into the really fun stuff.
Yeah, everyone's saying you're okay. You're just like a robot once in a while.
Okay. Maybe that's just me and my very bland personality. I don't know. Maybe I need to spice it up a little. Maybe do a little jig. Okay, yeah. So let me get into, this is the part I really was looking forward to. These are my favorite advanced examples. This is where the ideas will probably jump out at you a little bit more if you haven't seen these before. So advanced PLR implementation example number 1. This is something that's going to let you build what I like to call the know, like, and trust factor. I feel like that term has been beaten to death by sales gurus, but it's true. I do it all the time as a consumer. If I go to a website and I feel like I know the person selling, I'm more likely to make purchase. I'm sure you are as well. So you, as a business owner and somebody selling stuff, of course, you want to create the same feeling in your prospects. If you do that, it makes selling a breeze. And here's a simple way to do it and make your subscribers remember you. So the process goes like so. You find a PLR article with content you want to share. This could be super simple, right? If you remember my earlier example, I showed a 400-word article on negotiation. We could use that exact same article for this example. Maybe you already own PLR and you could just pull up an article on your hard drive right now and kind of visualize this. Then what you want to do is read through it quickly. If it's 400 words, it'll take you a couple minutes. Extract a few short bullets or phrases that kind of stand out to you. What are the main teachables or aha moments of that article? And put them in a slide deck. Very simple. Use PowerPoint. If you're not great at PowerPoint, seriously, just use the white background with the black text. Don't overcomplicate this. You can worry about spicing it up later. Then what you want to do is make a short video narrating the articles over the slides. All of us can read, I hope, and we can narrate that article using some kind of recording tool. Don't worry about the technology right now, but figure out how to record your voice reading the article. Okay, you're going to save that audio of you reading the slides, or the video of you reading the slides. So just like I'm doing now, right? I have a slide deck running. I'm speaking into a microphone. We're simply going to record that. It'll be about 2.5 minutes long if it's a 400-word article. Okay, then you save it. Then finally, you will record a short intro video from your smartphone. You can literally use a selfie stick, like, let me take a selfie. And you're going to brand it with yourself. You're going to stare into your phone and say, hey, Justin here. I've got a really cool example of how to increase your negotiation skills. And in the next couple of minutes, just want you to listen to this. And in the next couple of minutes, you're going to get my best tip for being a good negotiator. Check it out. Right? But you've spoken that into your phone with your face on the screen. Kind of scary if you've never done it before, but just try it. Right? And then you just go and then you just flip over and let them listen/watch that little video that you didn't have to do anything. All you had to do was read a PLR article. It wasn't necessarily anything you had to write from scratch. So it would look like this. It's like, this is an example using social media influence, whatever it may be. So, okay, here's a cool little tidbit or bullet from my article that I want to share. I grab a few of those items and put them into slides. Then I read those slides, I read my article while the slides go across the screen, just like I'm doing now. Then I record the video. Hey, it's Justin, blah, 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 right? And then I flip over to the slide deck that we talked about. Boom, we've got this personally branded video. It took us, honestly, you could pull this off in a few minutes. It doesn't take that long. And I actually have an example. If you go to toolsformotivation.com/training blog, you can actually find this example live. And it's so simple to do this. But imagine doing this once. Imagine you got in the habit of doing this once a week for a year, right? 52 PLR articles, not hard to find. Just find it on topics that are relevant to your niche and your business. You narrate those once a week, get on camera once a week, and you publish something like this on your blog, share it up on YouTube, Facebook, and boom, you've got all this personally branded content all over the place. And just put a strategic link in there somewhere. Link people to your opt-in page for your list, or link people to something that you're selling right now. And quickly, very, very quickly, and over time even better, people will get to know you. They're like, hey, he kind of sounds like me, or she sounds like me, and sharing pretty cool information that I'm getting value from. This is a really easy way to do it. I started doing this before I knew about PLR, actually. Like 2008, I was doing video blogging, and I would just hop on camera once a week and share some of my ideas. And I was selling some coaching. And I had people from all over the world getting on kind of these pre-sell calls, and I would close a number of people saying, you know what, it just feels like I know you. I've watched all your videos. Just now I'm talking to you. Your voice is it's the same. It's like we're in the same room. Boom. Way easier to close a sale than it is if they just happen to read one of your blog posts, as an example. So that's a very cool way of building that know, like, trust factor. This whole breakdown in step-by-step format is on the resource page that you can acquire at the end. Example number 2. This is a 10 to 15 minute exercise that lets you extract your expertise into a video presentation. So it's a little bit different than what I just showed you, because what I just showed you is you on video just saying hello and introducing yourself and then going off screen while you narrate slides. A video presentation is different in the sense that you're actually going to teach in the form of a video. You don't have to be on screen. You could teach in the form of slides. But the idea is that they're actually going to learn from you and your expertise versus just you narrating some PLR. So this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. But again, if you're coming into this as an expert who has valuable advice to share with your audience, then getting practiced and getting good at sharing your knowledge in the form of a video is very, very good. Plus, you can get the whole thing transcribed without paying any money. That's kind of a cool thing, right? So how do you do that? First, you're going to have to go and find a topic that you know well and you feel confident talking about, okay? So if you're just getting started, just pick something that you've done for years. I don't know what that may be for you, or maybe you have enough experience that you and I could sit down at the coffee table I'm sitting on right now, and without any pressure, you could explain it to me. The only pressure, if you're feeling any, comes from the fact that you know you now have to put a video. So pretend you're not doing that. Pretend you're just teaching me one-on-one while we drink coffee, okay? Then you're going to go find a PLR article on the same topic. This is going to be a little bit of a device to help you get through what can be a scary process if this is new for you, okay? And then you're going to go into that article, similar to the last example, extract 3 to 5 points that you can discuss based on your expertise. This is the trick, right? If you want to teach a topic, let's say it's overcoming the fear of public speaking, right? You find an article about that. You've done it yourself, but you're not really sure how to teach it. This article shares 3 valuable lessons, and you read it and you go, hey, that's exactly what I did. Cool, I get it now. All you do is pull those 3 ideas out of the article and use them as starters or little things to jog your memory, and just talk about those things as though you were talking to a friend. So you paste them into a slide deck and you do what I just said. You record yourself explaining those 3 things. When you use a piece of software like ScreenFlow or Camtasia, there's plenty of others as well. You can break this up. So you can record the first idea and then pause and take a breath and maybe grab a drink and then hit the recorder again and go back and do it 3 times. And in the end, you have a video presentation, but it's more off the cuff. Now it's you teaching, kind of like I'm doing right now in this webinar. It's not scripted out of an article. It's you actually passionately sharing something that you're already good at. There's nothing better you can do to brand yourself than passionately sharing something you're good at. Your audience will feel that, they'll resonate with it, and it'll help you sell more. Okay. Now, here's the free transcribe step that I talked about. If you record yourself doing that and then save it as a video, then you upload it to YouTube. YouTube has a built-in transcribe feature. So what you'll notice is there's a little box on the side of your YouTube video that will actually print out all the text you've just said. It's crazy. It's amazing. But it actually exists. And here's what it looks like. So here's one article about breaking bad habits. We pull a bunch of ideas out of them. Justin speaks over the slides into a video, and then boom, it's up on YouTube. Little button underneath the share, or to the right of the share button on YouTube, it says open transcript, and you can read it. It opens the transcript, and all of the text of what you've just spoken is now transcribed for you. You got to do a little bit of work to massage the text to make it readable, but at least you didn't have to pay for it. And if you're just getting started, and then you're looking for lots of different ways to bootstrap your business and not pay, this is a cool little feature that'll save you money. Later on, if you want to hire a transcriptionist, that's cool too. But this is a cool little step too, that for you to be aware of. That whole process is also on our resource page that I've included in our special at the end. Example number 3, creating a wow factor for new prospects that might be visiting your website for the first time. And you want to stand out, right? Like if they're just coming to your website and it looks like every second website they've been to, it's kind of hard. Even if you have amazing design, it really is hard to stand out quickly. However, if you have a wow factor blog post, I'm talking about a blog post that's probably a little bit more in depth. It's something that goes, that maybe is in multiple content variety of formats, I should say, and something that you could theoretically charge money for. Let's say you took all of the content from that post and you pasted it into a document and saved it as a PDF. Maybe you could sell that as a $10 report. That's how good it is. You want to publish that on your blog and then let people kind of read through it and learn from you. And you want to do this in less than 10 minutes. Now, if you find good PLR, you could pull this off in less than 10 minutes. Here's how. So traditional blog post is things like, hey, I've got 3 tips for saving time, or I've got 5 ways for you to feel more confident before you deliver a speech. Tying back to my earlier example there. 8 books that will make you feel motivated for your next project, whatever, right? We've all seen those. They're great reads, but they don't necessarily make you remember the author. Maybe you won't even subscribe to that blog. You wouldn't even go back necessarily if you just read those 8 tips. Maybe you would, but I think you'd be more likely to stick around and read more information and maybe subscribe to the newsletter of somebody who had an enhanced blog post like this. Be a blog post with one core theme, and I'm actually going to show you an example here in a second. But then you take that theme and you dive into multiple topics. So you kind of really, you have depth and breadth here. And then you also include multiple content formats. So there could be some visuals, there could be some text, maybe a video in there or an audio, maybe a slide presentation that's embedded from SlideShare, and they can click through and read various slides. Who knows what it is? There's all different kinds of options for you to make your content available in different formats and appeal to different audiences. So an example is here on an older blog of mine, which I don't publish to all that often anymore, but I still want to show this example. Here's a blog post called Breakthrough to a New You. It's all about personal transformation. And I built this blog post. I did it in less than 10 minutes, and I used tools for motivation content. And what I did was I went and grabbed a few of our content bundles. Our bundles at Tools for Motivation include articles and reports, audio versions of the articles, and graphics, just to make blogging and report writing easier for them, okay? And what I did was I took a graphic that kind of encapsulated the idea of what I'm about to write about, breaking through to a new you. It's a quote from somebody. I put that at the top of my blog post. And then I pasted in a variety of different PLR articles. So the first article was called Using Challenges to Break Through Your Comfort Zone. So this was all about expanding your reach, getting outside of what you normally do, being willing to feel the fear and so on. And I literally just pasted the article, okay? Then I found a PLR audio file called Taking More Chances Leads to a More Fulfilling Life. It's not a narration of the text above, but it complements the idea. So somebody can read about breaking their comfort zone, and then I say, hey, check out this additional audio segment about taking more chances in your life. Now, what I did here, for those of you that haven't seen this, was I took a PLR MP3 file. It's an audio file done for you, just narrated from a PLR article, and I uploaded it to soundcloud.com. Think of SoundCloud as YouTube for audio, okay? And then I took the embed code from that, just put it in my blog post, And now somebody reading this blog is going to read that cool section of blog post about breaking comfort zones and now have a, whatever it is, 2-minute little audio segment to enhance that idea, get them a little bit more inspired to break their comfort zone. Then I have section 2 about personal transformation. Dare yourself to overcome fear of success. Paste in another article and paste in another audio. This one was, so the article is, what is it again? Daring yourself to overcome fear of success. And then this one's easy way to improve mental toughness. Again, ideas that go hand in hand. They kind of dovetail one into the other, but you could also branch off and do other things with each one of these topics as well. What you're doing is you're showcasing different pieces of knowledge that you have for your audience. You're warming them up to the idea that you're available to help them with multiple things, in this case, in the personal development world. And they'll probably be a little bit more willing to join your list and maybe look at some of your coaching packages or even courses that you sell digitally, seeing that you have all this cool advice to share on your blog. And this goes on for a while. So this is a really long blog post that has all this different information pulled from bits and pieces of all different types of PLR packs and collected into a variety of formats, just to give that blog user a more of a different type of experience. They don't feel like they've just read a blog post. They feel like they've actually taken a mini course here. And that's what we want. So maybe I add a little, what might be better here is maybe halfway through or at the top and the bottom, add a reminder to join my list. If you want more stuff like this, right? Maybe if you want to see part 2 of this course, let's say, or part 2 of this blog post, subscribe today, and then you send it to them in PDF format. And that would take you just a little bit longer and build a second one of these using PLR again. So it gets really interesting the way you can use this stuff and kind of cross-connect it, and just gives you that much more opportunity to serve your audience and give them lots of cool stuff to learn about. This whole example is also on the resource page that I've included for you in our special later on. Okay. Whew. Okay, I'm going to take, Alice, I'm taking a break. I need a drink of water. I need to make sure that I'm not just boring people here, that there's value.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You feel like you're talking to yourself, but no, they're talking about, they love this audio and text combination. I was just thinking actually when I saw the audio PLR that you have, that I've been wanting to use that more as well. It's awesome. And they're talking about it in the Facebook group as well,
yeah, just a little bonus tip. We recently did this little mini training for our subscribers, and people get, and maybe somebody on the webinar, a few people on the webinar are even concerned about this right now, is you buy a PLR pack where all of the audio is already recorded for you in the voice of our team, right? We have people already recording this. So the idea is that you don't spend time recording it again, but then it's like, well, hey, that's not my voice, and I'm a coach, I'm selling my branding. Now what? There's this giant disconnect. So I get it. It's a valid concern, and it's something you definitely want to consider. And I don't think that you should only publish audio with other people's voices. You should have your voice on your website in some places, but it doesn't have to be everywhere. So what I suggested a few of our customers do is you could use, if you're on the Mac, you can use GarageBand. If you're on a PC, you could use Audacity. There's other audio apps as well. And you could collect a bunch of PLR audio into segments. And you introduce it like a radio programmer, right? Hey, it's Justin Popovic here from Tools for Motivation. Today, I've got some really interesting information to share with you about overcoming fear of public speaking. In this first audio segment, we're going to talk about being prepared in advance. If you spend a week preparing for your speech, you'll really be able to calm your nerves. Let's listen in, right? So then you become this person who's collected all of this audio for your audience. You're still the one presenting it, just the lessons are coming from a different voice, but it can still be branded to you. So if maybe that helps anybody listening to this webinar right now kind of wrap their head around, well, it's not going to be me. I'm kind of concerned. That might do it for you. It's definitely worth trying.
Yeah.
So that you can still make use of all this great audio PLR that's available for pennies on the dollar.
No, that's perfect. And it's kind of what I have done with written or PLR content too, is do like a little note from the editor and have a few thoughts and then go into the article. Perfect. And yeah, Carol says that everyone's saying this is a great idea. Carol says that, and oh shoot, I can't scroll up properly. Carol also said, keep going. This is awesome. And whose name is that? That's hidden away. Patty says, Justin is an idea machine, always has great and unique ideas.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad everybody's getting value. And yeah, we'll just keep going. And there's actually not too much more to go. I feel like I've done a good job staying on time. Sometimes I can go way too long and I don't like it. People have things to do. Okay, so let me do that.
Like implement what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. And do so after they get more coffee too, which I'm doing after this. All right. So this next one is an easy way, and I bolded it. Spoil your subscribers. It's a methodology I really subscribe to in my business. You want people to feel like they don't want to leave your list. Why do you want people to leave your list? Make them feel like it would be like the dumbest thing to do if they unsubscribe from your mailing list, because you just give them so much value. Obviously easier said than done, and not everybody's going to love you, and don't worry when people unsubscribe, but you can put things in place that make your subscribers love you and make them not want to unsubscribe. In fact, I've had people come and like panicking saying, I accidentally unsubscribed the wrong email address or whatever. So we put them back on. That's always a nice email to get. And I want you to be able to get those as well. And then you can do this while turning people into repeat customers as well. So how do you do it? What we do, and I suggest you do this as well in some form or another, is we create a freebie portal or a freebie page. And what we do is once a week, we publish some kind of free content for our subscribers to a hidden page, and it goes out only to our mailing list. So you can't find it. The only way to really be able to know this exists is by being on our mailing list. And the other thing that we do is we have it on a single page. So every single week, the content from the prior week goes away, right? So it's not like you can unsubscribe and just I guess you could keep coming back if you bookmark it, but we also change the URL sometimes as well. So you never know what's going to happen with our free content. You got to be a subscriber to know where to get it. But we just swap new content in every week, and we send a value mailer to our list. I think, Alice, you're in this boat as well. I like to try to mail my list every day if possible, minimum of 5 times a week. It doesn't always have to be a giant mailer. It doesn't have to be like the most epic piece of content, but just enough to stay on their radar, give them some value, remind them you're there, and focus on what it is you're good at. So I'm in the PLR business. I try to give them ideas for either using PLR or get them a good deal. They don't need to hear from me about, whatever Xbox games are available, right? So I try to send stuff out, and sending out a free item once a week is a great way to fill my broadcast schedule. So they go there, they get some great content. And I guess I want to cover all my bullet points here. Now you want to find, for you to do this, we just do this by creating content from scratch. We don't use PLR because it doesn't really apply, but you could. If you go back to my example earlier of a coach. You're trying to sell coaching services, you do one-on-ones, maybe you do some group stuff, but you have lots of people that are still kind of deciding if they want to hire you. Well, send them a bunch of stuff for free every week. Find PLR related to your niche. If you're a relationship expert, find a bunch of PLR videos, articles, audios, whatever, and line them up. So, March 13th, it's going to be this. What's today? April 17th is going to be this topic. The 23rd or 24th is going to be the next topic. You can plan this out for an entire year if you plan enough, or if you find enough PLR in your niche. And then all you do is send out these value mailers once a week. And all they have to do is go and grab a download. We always like to add a little sales pitch as well. I mean, if we have something of relevance and of value for them, then not only am I sending them something of free value, I'll also say, hey, by the way, we've got this deal running right now, or we've got this hidden special that you may have missed. And that freebie mailer can kind of be an excuse to also promote some of your stuff. And you can kind of be a bit more subtle about it. Some days I just flat out tell my subscribers to go buy something. Other days I try to be more subtle and just give some value first. Other days I just train. I don't sell anything at all. So it really just depends on how you want to market to your list. But this freebie idea alone is huge. We get dozens of thank you letters or email replies every week, every time we send one of these out. And it's just an easy way for us to kind of make people happy. And in our business, people are buying PLR. So if they can get PLR content that they don't have to spend any money on and actually gives them value, you can grab a free pack and publish it to your blog. And I've saved you your blog post for the week. That really resonates with people, and they want to stay on our list, so they get that every week. And so it gives them a reason to kind of open your email and stay subscribed. So here's an example of of just how well we do with this model. On a recent affiliate contest, we did, if you look here, we won an affiliate contest. And I know we don't have the largest list in the world, but we made a ton of sales on a very simple offer just with this model. Like we had, what did we send it to? 3,400 people, and we made 195 sales on an offer. Now, I know there's a lot of people that I take list building courses from. They try to get you to build your first 10,000 subscribers or whatever it may be. You can get a lot of traction out of a very small list if you work the list, if you treat them like you know each and every subscriber, if you give them value like I did with this freebie portal example, and to me, it seems less daunting to build a list of 1,000 or 3,000 people than it is 10,000 or 20,000. If you take care of that list, and you can use PLR to do this exact same freebie model I showed you right now, then you could be getting giant numbers out of a small list as well. So what we did there as well, I forgot about this piece, is we also offered a bonus. So we said, hey, go buy this thing. We promoted the offer a few times, but we had 3 different bonuses that if they bought it, they're going to get for free from us as well. You could do the exact same thing with PLR content. You don't actually have to create the bonuses if you don't have them. There's lots of great PLR content that could help you pull this whole thing off as well.
Yeah, well, I was 3rd place, I guess, but that's not going to happen.
Sorry, I didn't even see it. Yeah, but that's because you were probably promoting something else.
Oh, I'm going to beat you next time.
Yeah, that was...
Just kidding. 195 sales. That's pretty good. Nice.
Yeah, that was a good one. So my point was, sorry, I didn't even notice that. It wasn't to rub it out. What's that?
I made you lose your point. Sorry.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. The point is, don't make Alice mad, because now she's going to beat me on every affiliate contest from now on. The point is, you really don't need a giant list to get really good numbers, whether it's your own list or, in this case, promoting someone else's offer. I didn't even have to create the offer, right? I just had to promote some other package that somebody else sold. Obviously, it was something really good that I believed in and I thought was great value to my subscribers. But there's lots of that out there now. There's so many great content publishers or product creators out there, course creators, that you can promote and simply make a commission by letting people know that it exists. I buy most of my stuff through recommendations as well, as I'm sure many of you do as well. Okay. That was hilarious, but okay, moving on. Advanced PLR implementation, example number 5. Oh, this is fun. I like this one. Creating a visually stunning ebook or presentation or handout, really anything else, even if your design skills suck, which is me. I'm not really great at design. That's why I have a business partner named Ted who does all of that stuff. But I can pull my weight to an extent. And when I use examples like the one I'm about to show you, then people often think I am good at design, which is fun. So here's what it is. And you could try this right now, actually. I'll make it super easy for you. You're going to start with a single PLR article on a topic in your area of expertise. Okay. Hopefully you know where to find some of those. Then you're going to go to unsplash.com. If you haven't heard of this website, write it down or go there now and bookmark it. And you're going to find some images there. They're freely available, and it's actually unbelievable some of the stuff you can do. Their license is very, very liberal, including commercial uses. But you want to find some images there to help illustrate the message within the article. Probably not all that hard to do if it's a personal development article, like I'm going to show you. If you're getting into more niche content, then you'll probably have to search a little bit deeper. Then you're going to create a slide deck. So if you're using PowerPoint on the PC or Keynote on the Mac, you can use OpenOffice as well. It's really up to you. Create a slide deck where you're going to merge the article content with the images. And then you're going to include some promotional links to your business. Okay. Export it as a PDF. And now you have a shareable PDF that you can publish to a blog, to an article sharing website like scribed.com, to SlideShare. There's lots of different places you can publish shareable PDFs, okay? Social media included. So here's what it would look like. This one's an article, 3 benefits of taking risks. And I've taken the text out of them and put them into 5 different slides. Each slide has a background of an image that I grabbed from unsplash.com. So let me just quickly go out and show you this guy. How do I get over the slide or the webinar thing's in my way? How do I do that? I can't do it, or maybe I can do it here. Okay. Alice, can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it. I think I've been to that site
Okay,
before,
good.
and I totally forgot about it, but it is a
Oh yes,
resource.
yes. You need to go here. You need to bookmark it, and we've made this even easier for you if you're using, well, not even just if you're using personal development content. If you publish in any niche, this collection will help you. But okay, unsplash.com allows you to create an account and then create your own collections. So we've created a tools for motivation collection on this website. I don't know if you can see it on my screen. I'm going to actually sound it out here for people. Unsplash.com /@ tools for motivation / collections. Okay. And Ted has gone ahead. I don't know how many hours he would have spent forever doing this. He went and created 84 collections of really, really high resolution photos of the tens of thousands available on this website. And he's categorized them into different collections: family life and childhood, hope, friends and relationship, relaxation and calm, yoga, backgrounds, whatever. He's got tons. Okay. So let's say, what was my example on the slide? You guys can see the behind the scenes. It was taking risk. So maybe I want to do what's a good one here? Not relaxation. I don't know what, hope, let's say. Okay, it may be slow on a webinar to load this. Yeah, because the webinar is probably taking up a lot of my bandwidth. But then I could go in here and with Unsplash, you simply click on the image that you want. I'm not going to do it right now because I have a feeling it's starting to interrupt my bandwidth and I don't want my voice to get all crackly. And you can save the image, and then it will also tell you the name of the creator. So you can give them a mention when you create your content. And then all you do is grab this image and paste it into your slide, like I was doing on on my presentation there. So hopefully you found that link at Unsplash. If you need it, let me know after. And then that's all I did. I found 5 on that website, created 5 slides with those type of backgrounds. Then I went and created the text. So I copied and pasted the title on the first slide. Notice in the bottom corner there, I have a little orange box that says toolsformotivation.com. I used PowerPoint, I believe, to make it a link so that when I exported as a PDF, people could click on that. It would actually promote my website. I believe that's how it works. Maybe not with PowerPoint. I can't remember for sure. I know it does in Keynote. Either way, make sure that people actually can click that and get taken to your website or a landing page or something you're selling. Maybe it's your social media page, whatever. Make sure it promotes you. And then slide 2 has some text. Notice I had to get creative, right? The second image is mostly a dark background, so I had to make my text white. So even if you don't have, if you're like me, you don't have amazing design skills, you can probably make text change from black to white and make it appear on a dark background, right? But in the end, you've got this 5-page, what you could now call a report, visually appealing as well, saving it as a PDF, and it takes you almost no time. You just go to Unsplash, grab a PLR article. You could do dozens of these, or you could do it once and then write the steps out and get a VA to do the rest, just like Alice mentioned that earlier. But to me, this is like one of my favorite examples of using PLR because too often I think we're just publishing content as text. This just lets you spice it up a little bit, makes your user experience, your customer experience that much more appealing. And if it is personal development or motivational content, having images like this can only help kind of create that feeling, that motivational style feeling that you're trying to create. This example is also on our resource page. Okay, example number 6. Double down on your engagement. I'm surprised I put that. That's not something I normally say. Double down on your engagement with new leads by distributing your expertise as a 5-part mini course. Okay. So this is an example that's mainly going to show you how to do list building in an effective way. Okay. And so think of a traditional example. Maybe you've already done this yourself, is you have a blog and you tell people to sign up for your blog for your newsletter, or on the right side, you have a little opt-in box saying, get my ebook on blah, blah, blah. Give me your name and email address. Okay, very traditional. It does work, but it's certainly not the only way to build your list. Another way of doing it might say, sign up for free today for my 5-part mini course where I'm going to show you 5 steps to confident public speaking. Again, going back to my earlier example. And then instead of just giving them an ebook to download and sending them on their way, they are going to get 5 emails and pieces of content from you over the course of the next 5 days. Now, instead of forgetting you, they're going to remember you, because for 5 straight days, they're going to have communication from you. And if they're interested in the topic, they're probably anticipating that next piece of content that you're about to drop. So that's the traditional example, right? Name an email, send them this. Or name an email and take that ebook and transfer it into this. A 5-part course. Day 1, they get a little bit. Day 2, they get a little bit more. And if you do it right, they get some information and they get some exercises, so they actually implement the idea, right? It's not just an intellectual exercise for them. It's actually promoting transformations, promoting change, because you're giving them a small piece of information. You're not overwhelming them with stuff like you might on the day 1 example there, or on the left example. You're just giving them a little bit, a tidbit of information. Get better at public speaking. The first principle is preparedness. So here are 3 things that you can do to be better prepared for your speeches. And that's all they learn on day 1, and they get it delivered to them in an email. But then you come back on day 2 with the way to structure a speech and the way to best deliver it confidently, right? And now they have a little example of your template to follow for structuring their speech. And on we go for 5 days. This, in my experience, has a way better, a deeper impact. If people go through a sequence like this when they sign up for your list, and you take them from idea to implementation or to execution, you've made a bigger impact on their lives. They're much more likely to hire you as a coach, or buy your training, or come to one of your live events, or maybe some kind of combination. So this is something you could easily do with PLR, right? I've done this, and I can actually, if anybody's interested, I can show you an example where we've taken just a simple PLR ebook, and instead of delivering it as a 6,400 word download, it's a 5-part course, and they get, 1,000 words a day instead. Oh, I think I've already explained it on this slide. Anyways, let's do it again. So you start with a PLR ebook or report. You extract 5 key lessons for your mini course. Okay. Any ebook that's kind of done in PLR format will probably have at least 5 key ideas or lessons. Some will have 15, 20, 30, because they're short. They're meant to be like, get the information, learn, and move on. It's not a giant book that they're going to be spending days and days reading. Then they fill in, we actually have a mini course template. If you're interested in doing this, let me know. And you can fill in this mini course template to create the 5-part course. And then you want to decide on your delivery. Our template does it in text, but you could also do this in video, right? If you already wrote your course on 5 steps to more confident public speaking, you could easily apply some of my earlier lessons about turning that text into video, and really go deep with your lead generation or your list engagement, right? Instead of just getting the 5-part course delivered to them in text, each day it's you on screen teaching them. I mean, that goes even further. If you're willing to put in the effort to do that, it really will benefit you. So if you want to go that far, do it. Here's why it works. Higher perceived value. I mean, it's just getting a course delivered to you like this it will help the customer implement better than it would just reading a book. So it'll help you convert. It's a more powerful form of delivery, like I talked about earlier. Plus, it's valuable content you can sell or pre-sell with. I really like the idea of a 5-part mini course for pre-selling something. So take my 5-part mini course. You're going to learn 1 idea, or like maybe 5 mini ideas, 1 main lesson from me. And then if you want to go further with me, now that you've seen my style, now it's time for you to check out my intro training program, or to check out my introductory coaching, whatever. Okay. Plus, I just like the last one here, 5 interactions instead of 1. I'd rather send 5 emails over 5 days to my subscriber than 1 email and then be stuck there. The more emails you send out, the better. If people don't like it, they'll unsubscribe. That's fine. It's well within their right, but it's also within your right to send an email every day if they subscribe to your list. Most people I find don't mind. They actually appreciate hearing from you once a day. Okay. Woo. Before we get into this super duper crazy special offer, let's take a pause here. Alice, were there any kind of burning questions there?
Well, people are interested in that mini course template for sure. That came up right away. They're like,
"Yep, not a problem. I can get that out. We can in our follow-up emails. We can have
sure,
that done.
That's what we'll do. Perfect. So we'll email that out. There were a few questions that I collected, lots of great feedback. Carol, that I'm remembering in particular, so she keeps posting how great it is. And she's like, I feel like a broken record. And I said, I don't think that Justin would mind hearing that.
I don't mind hearing that. Thank you, Carol. That's awesome. That's what you want to hear. Like, I don't want to waste anyone's time. So that's good.
Yeah. I'll keep a copy of the chat too. So we'll be able to find other people's compliments as well, because there are lots, but.
Okay. So let me do the offer. Let me do the offer and then we can go through the questions if there are.
Exactly. I think that's great.
Good. Okay. So here is what we put together for you as a attendee of our webinar today. If you go to listmagnets.com/Justin, I did spell that correctly, right? Just looks funny on the screen all of a sudden.
I believe that is correct.
Good.
I'll put the link into the chat as well.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, you will see it there and you can read through it. But here's what it is, okay? It's basically access to 6 premium done-for-you self-help products from Tools for Motivation. But it's a bit unique because what we're doing here is we're going to actually let you choose from a list of over 90 different products that we've created. So at the very beginning of this webinar, I gave you a demo of a product called Foundation. A single license is $147 if you were to go and buy that single product today. Okay, that is kind of covering the topic of basic success skills, right? An introduction to success principles. We have several dozen categories of content. I mentioned some of them earlier, like effective communication, success mindset, leadership, negotiation, confidence, self-esteem, you name it. Anything that you could go to the bookstore and buy a self-help book on, we probably have a product that covers that topic. And the cool thing here is you can browse through there and pick 6 different products out of our list of 90 plus, so that you can start planning whatever it is you need to do. If you want to take the examples I've showed you today and create a 6-module course that dives deep into a bunch of different personal development topics, perfect, you can do that. If you have a membership site and you want to add 6 different months worth of content, you could do that as well. This gives you the freedom to pick topics that are relevant to you and your business. And remember, it's all customizable. So if you need to tweak it to speak to your audience, let's say, for example, athletes are the people you coach and teach, and you want to teach them about mental toughness, right? You can tailor our products to speak to what athletes need to do to prepare for an event and so on. All of the products have an ebook, a pre-done audiobook, lead generation reports. They have articles and graphics and slide decks and lots of different stuff that I showed you. And our products range in price from $97 to $147. The majority of them are at the 97 level, but there are some at 127 and 147 as well. Plus, you're going to get, if you purchase this, that giant resource sheet that I talked about. It's going to have step-by-steps for all the different examples I showed you on this webinar. So if you don't want to go through and take notes and kind of remember what I said, if you want a little bit more of a deep dive explanation of all these, that is included in this as well. For $97. So it's not a bad deal here at all. If you look at the fact that a lot of our products are $147, then you could be spending over $600 to load your cart with these 6 products. But instead, what you're going to do today, if you're interested, is you'll purchase this, and then you're going to get a special download link from me with instructions on how to select your 6. So as you go through this, right now, you can be on the page. I think I put our latest 16 items there, so you can kind of get a visual of what some of the products look like. And then a link out to our website if you want to go through all 94 or whatever it is. Start making a list. If you see 6 that can really benefit you and your business, then this is a good deal for you. You spend today the 97, and then you go and select the 6 that you want and send it in to us. This is where a slight manual process comes in, because we've never done this before. So you send the 6 selections to us, and then I personally am going to look at every one of these because we haven't done it before. So you'll hear from me personally. I'm going to send you your 6 download links plus that resource sheet. And then you can also interact with me there if you actually have specific questions about the implementation. Because I know what I covered a lot here today. And maybe, let's say, for example, you like that 5-part mini course example, and you want to take one of the 6 products here and turn it into a 5-part course for list building. I want to make sure that you know exactly step-by-step how to do that so that you're getting an ROI for your product you purchased here today. So that's kind of what it is. it's very simple. It's a $97 purchase, 6 packages of your choice from our catalog. Make your choice, send it in. We'll reply as quickly as possible. I've actually turned on alerts on my cell phone for our help desk. So I'm going to get these right away when you send them. As soon as I can get back to my desk, I'll send you your download link so you have them right away. So it's kind of cool for us too. It's the first time we've done a kind of choose your own adventure offer. We've had similar kind of stuff with bonuses before, but never like this. So I really hope you take advantage of it. For one, I think you can load up with a lot of content here. And you can have the ability to create up to 6 different courses, 6 different downloadable products, or maybe just one giant course that you want to use some of my earlier examples with earlier, and create something premium where you're getting on video, you're doing some of your own coaching, and then you're complementing your coaching with some tips from our packages and so on. I don't know, Alice, what do you think? Is this a good explanation of everything? You're on mute, maybe?
I'm on mute. You're right. Smart. Art was asking, so if we buy today, is there an expiration on when the package can be used?
That's actually a really good question. I guess for the most part, no. We'll probably expire it, within a reasonable time frame. Again, we haven't done this offer before, so 90 days type of thing.
To pick your content, you mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, theoretically you could use this to get some of our future products coming out as well. So I'm going to have to go ahead and decide right now on the call. I'll say 90 days, because it's going to be a little bit tough to manage if we get like 6 and 9 months down the road. You're like, I was on this webinar back when, and I have 1 product left. I want to give you some flexibility in time, but keep it within reason as well.
Right. And I think above, I don't see where it is now. The chat's gone crazy. But lots of good feedback. But they said financial self-help with a question mark. I am assuming that he is wondering if you offer any financial content on financial topics.
So yeah, we don't focus specifically on financial. We have a couple of packages, I believe a couple. I can get back to you about the specific titles on like money mindset stuff, but all of the packages at Tools for Motivation, ultimately we'd categorize them as personal development or professional development in some cases. So specific like financial tips and advice, no, you'd have to go to another provider. I can recommend a couple people.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And so obviously for Art's question too, like once you pick your content and you have your content, that is your content forever, right? So there's no confusion for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like what I mentioned earlier. You buy this now, and instead of just getting the 1 download like you normally would for $97, you're going to get 6 or 5 other ones. So maybe you only see 1 package right now that makes sense. You could download the other 5 and put it in the assets folder that I talked about earlier under relevant categories. And in the future, you might be able to pull from these, again, email broadcast content, blogging content, future products, and so on.
Now people are kind of talking about the actual, how long this offer will be available. And, there's going to be some people are going to catch the replay. So Justin is giving until Friday to purchase this.
Yeah, I think I put a timer on there. I'll double check, but
I think you did, because someone mentioned it says that there is says 3 days and 12 hours. But don't forget about it. Go do it now. If you can use this content, then you have it done and you won't forget by Friday. Also, could people purchase more than 1 of these if they wanted to?
Yeah, absolutely. It's if you want 18, you could buy it 3 times.
Yes. All right. So yeah, your content is always great. My customers enjoy purchasing it because they know they're going to get great quality, and lots of great comments through the Facebook group, through here, people who have known you for a long time and really
awesome.
Appreciate the quality of your content, and obviously the the education you've provided us here as well. So the link again is listmagnets.com/Justin, and that's going to get you a ton of great content that you can start implementing all these things that Justin just shared with us. So many great ideas. You can get that audio content, which I'm going to have to pick up some of that audio content. But and implement it, not let it sit on my hard drive. But I've got people that I can hire to put that out there for me.
Yeah, a lot of people recently with our audio content have actually been doing the blend where they take the audio and mix it over slides, or using, in some cases, more complex software, so the audio actually just becomes background for a video, for YouTube marketing, or even for like video courses, which for most, if you're selling like a premium course, most of the time you're going to probably be delivering it in video format versus like just PDF. So the audio can come in really handy for that stuff.
Yeah. Adela says, thanks to me for asking that question about more than one, because she says she sees at least 15 that she would like.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there are, I think, 94 different packages, and a lot of them actually we've done, in my opinion, we've done a good job crossing over all the different most popular themes in the self-help world. At least we come at a few of them from different angles as well. And goal setting is obviously a massive topic, but you can talk about it in different ways. So we do cover multiple angles as well.
All right. So
also,
again,
keep an eye out that some of these packages have different formats. So the foundation package I demoed at the beginning, it actually had some add-on video content. Some of the packages don't have it, and it might be reflected in the ticket price.
Okay. All right. So guys, again, it's listmagnets.com/Justin, and you'll get to pick 6 of the packages you like, valued at up to $147 each, and you get them all for $97. And the resource sheet with the step-by-step examples.
I do need to make one. I actually do need to say one thing I just thought of, Alice.
Okay.
It doesn't, and I don't think I put this on the sales page, but I will update. It does not include our monthly membership. So
right.
it would only include things from the link that I put on the sales page. So you get, you have a link of 94 items, which are single point product licenses. And you could choose those. If you're looking at more of an ongoing thing, we can talk about that as well. And we can obviously make sure Alice gets credit if you decide to go that route, but it does not include any of our subscription products.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And good clarification. So should we get into some of the questions, or?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So near the beginning, actually, Eileen was asking, and I just wrote a note, so I don't have the exact wording of her question, but she is wondering about, don't you have to edit the content and change the content for fear of, there being duplicate content out there on the web?
I mean, I don't know Google's exact algorithm, but I know for sure that there are many different blogs and news agencies and websites that publish, they syndicate content. Actually, you might find the exact same article on 100 different websites, and they're all indexed in Google. So I don't really know if duplicate content is something that will get you penalized in Google. It certainly doesn't hurt to at least make a little bit of a change to an article that you buy from a PLR store. So the example I gave, we changed the title. I think I changed about half of the wording. And then the article body, you might want to add a little intro about yourself, or maybe remove one of the paragraphs and put in one of your own. I always recommend at least some manipulation / changing, but you don't have to. And I really have not seen the issue of duplicate content being an issue in terms of people being penalized or anything like that.
Yeah. I have never worried about it ever. And even in the time where I was more concerned about search engines, now I don't care. Google, whatever. I grow my traffic in many different ways. I don't just rely on Google. But even when I was more focused on it, I was using a variety of content. It's not like I was just posting PLR or just PLR from one source, or it's more about duplicate content. As far as I understood, it was more about sites duplicating themselves. Having an article appear in a bunch of places isn't going to be a problem. Maybe that article isn't going to rank well on Google if you target the same keyword phrase as everybody else, but that's just that particular article. You're not being punished for publishing content or syndicating it, like you mentioned it, because websites do that. I think, and a lot of this content is you can use for products, for your mailing list, for opt-in offers, and that has nothing to do with Google, right? That's just content that is for your user. I think as long as you're providing a good experience to your customers and your subscribers, that you're not gonna lose.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So then I think that I answered some of these questions. I think they were failed. But Lorenzo was wondering where to start with outsourcing.
Okay, so just in terms of actually, I don't know if he means where to find an outsourcer, which you would be better to answer that question than me, Alice.
They haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I'd honestly, I'd flip that over to you. You're like the queen of outsourcing. You're better at it. I'm a control freak, so I have a hard time with it.
But you don't make all your content and stuff.
That's a good point. So okay, so I'll answer it as a secondary expert. But I would definitely say Alice is better at this than me. Well, I guess depends on what you need. So when we found our audio team, for example, it's actually a husband and wife team, and they produce unbelievable quality audio. We found them on Fiverr.com originally, Fiverr.com. And we hired them for like a one little gig where they recorded some audio, and I couldn't believe the quality. So I got a hold of them personally, and I just said, hey, we're looking for a contractor to work for us regularly. And the order volume we were putting through his business was huge. So he gave us a big discount. What he would normally charge for, the amount of audio we ordered, he was charging about half. So Fiverr is one, easyoutsource.com. We found our designer, our writers. I've actually come from one of Alice's programs, Writer Help Wanted. So I think it just depends on the type of help you're looking for. Alice, do you have any specific resources you like to go to? I guess, again, depending on the job.
Yeah. And I go word of mouth. And like we have our Facebook group, our Publish for Prosperity Facebook group. And there are people who do services in there all the time, ask, or if you're in a different group, go and ask for people. I've always found that word of mouth is the best. I rarely use any of the outsourcing sites, so I don't have a lot of feedback on those. And just over time, I don't hire the writers specifically anymore, but my assistant that a lot of people probably will know is Melody. And she just keeps her ears open and has, she's always looking for writers. And it always comes, from word of mouth or people. She's not on the outsourcing sites either. But the thing is too, that not just where to find someone is just getting started with it. I always recommend starting with just a virtual assistant who is familiar with, WordPress or whatever platform you're using that can put content up on your site, and just, get them started with, a few tasks, and the more you'll find as your time frees up your time, you have more time for the bigger ideas in your business, and you're going to start making more money. You're going to be able to afford to hire out more, and it's very freeing. Like for me, I'm down to doing, sometimes the work I actually do is because I want to do it. I like doing the, mailing my list and stuff like that. So I do that, and I do mostly just basically focus on planning. So eventually that's kind of where you want to be, because, when you're bogged down with all the details and everything, it's tough to grow because you're too busy making sure everything gets done, as opposed to strategizing on where you want to go.
Yep, totally.
Okay.
I mean, I could offer up some other stuff as well, but I think we've touched on that one enough. Okay. If people want to know more, I'm sure we could discuss that as well later.
Yeah. Justin's also in the Facebook group if you want to come by.
Posting selfies.
Let me see. There's a question here. I'm just trying to find everything. Okay. Unrelated question. Mike asked me that one maybe in the group. Just something. It's just about Zoom, about the platform I'm using.
Which I've liked today, by the way.
Joe says, if I use PLR to create a course and find free YouTube resources to complement it, is it ethical to include links to these additional free YouTube or blog posts of others?
Well, I guess if it's just sharing a link that's freely available, no. I mean, that's to me, that's a great service. I went and found something, you just share it. It's this is going to help you learn. Like right now, if somebody said, how do I do your example with the narrating over the audiobooks that I talked about earlier? Well, I would send somebody to a YouTube video of using Audacity. So if it's that type of scenario, I that's amazing. That's perfect.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I totally understand. understood it. But yeah, of course, yes.
You're selling your information in the course, and then you have like a resources section. If you need help implementing this section of the course, go here. It's a free link. Yeah, that's great. It's perfect.
Yeah, and that makes your life a lot easier too. Like especially like if it's for new people, I find that I'm always linking out to other stuff, especially if it's for new people. So if I teach a course at a certain level, but there's people like Margaret here had actually lots of questions about technology because it's brand new to her, and she was wondering about how to put the files up and things like that. But you don't have to teach your customers exactly how to do that. Like, you don't have to create that content. Just send them. There's lots of places, lots of videos and things that they can watch, and just link to those. I've made like kind of a newbie section for people. So if they need that basic stuff, then they can go find those resources there.
It's perfect.
All right. So I think I think we got most of the questions. If I missed something, maybe post it into the chat again. Lots of people saying thank you and great training.
Awesome.
From Magellan.
I really appreciate everybody showing up. That's awesome.
Yes. And Herb also says wonderful webinar. And Fran said thanks to both of us. And I have so much of Alice and Justin's work that I need to get to work because I'm excited. And she reminded me that I should come to the UK on July 12th because that's when the sun will be out.
That's great forecasting.
Yeah. I've been asking everybody that I know live there, come on, tell me. There's got to be like 1 week where it's going to be.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And Mike says Justin's products are superb always. Yes.
Yay, that's awesome. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Okay, well, guys, make sure you get this. If you teach, and it's personal development, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a personal development coach or whatever it happens to be. This type of stuff applies to so many different niches. If you teach your customers how to improve their lives in some way, to do things better, then a lot of this kind of content will fit in. So go ahead and have a look at what products are there. And if you can see those fitting in with what you do, definitely pick that up. But do it quickly because it won't last long. And it's listmagnets.com/Justin. All right. So, well, thank you, Justin. Awesome. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
No, that's it. I think you covered it. And we can definitely, if there were questions missed or whatever, I'll pop into the Facebook group and we can chat.
Yeah. Sounds terrific.
Awesome. Well, hopefully everybody got value, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside.
All right. See you guys. Have a great day.